dear students, once again you are welcome for my next lecture, and thank you very much for very positive response from your side. You are watching the videos and I am still following the same basic, that to cover the NCERT point to point with innovative way, creating innovative slides and giving you the clear idea about each and every point, every aspect. You know, this mode of online teaching also a powerful mode. We should believe in it and continue with it during this crisis of COVID-19. So let us start. Application of Gauss law. So let us understand another application of Gauss law. And this application is to find the electric field due to a uniformly charged thin spherical shell. This is the case. Now let us take a spherical shell of radius r having a surface charge density sigma greater than 0. It means this spherical shell is positively charged. Positive charges are there on the surface. Radius of spherical shell is capital R. Center is O. So surface charge density is positive greater than 0. I repeat again, surface charge density is charge per unit area. And this distribution of charge is uniform. And this has spherical symmetry, as we already know, because field will emerge perpendicular from the surface. Electric field lines will be perpendicular and they will create a radial field. This is the spherical symmetry. Direction of field is along the radius, outward. And in case of negatively charged, electric field lines will be inward and perpendicularly terminating. In case of positive surface charge density, electric field lines emerge perpendicularly. This we know, outward direction. So this is what we already know very well. If you are not aware, so watch my earlier videos where I have cleared this concept of spherical symmetry very well. Now, first case, to find the electric field outside. This point P lies outside the sphere. You have to find the electric field intensity at this point. This point is outside the spherical shell and at r distance. See, at r distance from the center of the sphere. This point is located at r distance from the center of this spherical shell. So understand this. If you have notebook and pen, I have already said this rule that whenever you watch the video, keep notebook and pen with you. Draw the figures along with the lecture. This will help you to concentrate. Now, what is the procedure? We take a Gaussian surface. So here symmetry is spherical, so we take a spherical Gaussian surface. A spherical Gaussian surface of radius small r having same center O, passing through point P. This red one is a spherical Gaussian surface and I have shown it with dots dotted line, because this is imaginary. Gaussian surface doesn't exist in reality. This is imaginary surface. So this is Gaussian surface passing through our point where we have to find the electric field intensity. This is the first step we have to take if we have to apply the Gauss law. Now next one is, see, this is very yellow one is a small area element, delta S, and this is the direction of area element perpendicular to the surface at this point. So yellow one is a small area element, and this red arrow is the normal perpendicularly outward. This is the area vector, delta S. Now further, see, direction of electric field is also perpendicular, because we know electric field lines originate perpendicularly. So this black one arrow is for electric field intensity. This is also outward, because surface charge density is positive. Charges are positive. So red one is area vector, black one arrow is for electric field intensity, and you know this electric field intensity will be same at each and every point in magnitude. So magnitude wise electric field intensity is uniform over this Gaussian surface. And direction of electric field is along the radius, because this is a spherical symmetry. So this is the setup of the question. This is the n cap. See, this green one is the unit vector along the direction of electric field as well as along the direction of perpendicular vector, which is showing, representing the area vector. So this n cap is unit vector along the E. So what is the result? Here theta is 0 degree. That is angle between delta S vector and electric field intensity is 0. Angle between delta S vector and unit vector is 0. So theta is 0. So what is the result? See on the screen, I repeat again. See on the screen, I repeat again, where my cursor is. See this statement. See this statement. E vector E and area vector are parallel at each point. Everywhere this situation is same. Wherever you take point on Gaussian surface, this situation is same. E and delta S are parallel at each point. That is theta is 0 degree. Now we know this. The electric flux of this small area element is delta phi, which is a scalar product of electric field intensity E and area vector delta S. And a scalar product is equal to E delta S cos theta. And you know theta is 0. So what will be the result? Electric flux linked with, associated with small area element is E delta S. Therefore, total electric flux of Gaussian surface, total electric flux of the Gaussian surface, spherical Gaussian surface, will be summation of all such delta phi's for all such delta S. So we will add up all delta phi corresponding to each and every area element delta S. If we add up all delta phi, we will get the net electric flux. So it means we get phi is equal to E delta S. We put the value of delta phi here. Now E is uniform, magnitude wise uniform. We take out it from the summation side. Now this is the result. Now what does it mean, this whole statement? Summation delta S for all delta S means all the small area elements when added. This is obvious, result will be 4 pi r square, that is surface area of Gaussian surface. Result of this statement is 4 pi r square. So now we have reached to this equation, phi is equal to E into 4 pi r square. Still application of Gauss law continues. Now what is the total charge enclosed inside the Gaussian surface? Total charge enclosed inside the Gaussian surface is charge on the actual spherical shell, summation q, which will be equal to surface charge density multiplied by the surface area of actual spherical shell. So radius of spherical shell is r, capital R. So this is summation q is equal to sigma 4 pi capital R square. And we know this is the Gauss law. Phi is equal to q by epsilon naught, or you can say summation q divided by epsilon naught. Now we have value of both summation q and phi. Let us apply Gauss law. So first case, we apply it, phi is equal to E into 4 pi r square, sigma 4 pi capital R square by epsilon naught. We solve and we get E is equal to sigma capital R square divided by epsilon naught small r square. This is first result, and this is in a scalar form. If we wish to convert this into vector form, we have to multiply right hand side by unit vector, and unit vector along E is n cap. So when we multiply it by n cap, this becomes the vector form of the expression. So this is vector form. Now second case, we don't put the value of total charge, net charge in this form. If we directly apply this portion of the Gauss law, so this is another notation. Hence we get E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. This is the scalar form. If we wish to convert this to vector form, we have to multiply it by n cap. So if we multiply by n cap, we get electric field intensity in vector form is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square n cap. This is vector form. Now this second point I have discussed because I want to show that this is the same equation for the electric field intensity due to point charge. Point is at r distance, source charge is q, so electric field intensity is q by. It means this appears that total charge distributed over a spherical cell concentrated at the center. This appears like that. And this proves that this is spherical symmetry. Although charge is placed over the spherical shell of radius capital R, but it appears that charge is placed at the center. See, this is the situation. Earlier, we know this, source charge is plus q, so electric field intensity is outward and electric field lines are like this, spherical symmetry is there. So this is the case of point charge producing the electric field intensity. Here also we get the same result, but charge is not inside the spherical shell in our case. In this case, charge is on the surface, but that setup is behaving as charge is placed at the center. This is analogy, comparison, you can say similarity between electric field intensity produced by the point charge and electric field intensity produced by the charged spherical shell outside. And difference is that here actually charge plays here, but in spherical shell charge is not at the center, charge is over the surface. So try to understand this difference and this similarity. Difference of placement of the charge but similarity in the behavior. That's why I have discussed the second point. So here ultimate we have some more information for you. Electric field is directed outward if Q is greater than 0, that I have already told you. If charge is positive, electric field is directed outward. Q is less than 0, if charge is negative, electric field is directed inward. Or in other words, you can say that if sigma is greater than 0 if Q is greater than 0, and sigma is less than 0 if Q is less than 0. And this is exactly the field produced by a charge placed at the center O. In this case, same, but position of charge is different. Two cases have similarity in their character wise, property wise, but a placement of charge is different in both the cases. So in this case of uniformly charged shell, the entire field is like that, as if the entire charge of the shell is concentrated at its center. And students, this question is always very important from examination point of view. Now let us understand the field on the surface. If we wish to calculate the field on the surface of the spherical shell at the point which lies on the surface of the spherical shell, small r becomes equal to capital R. In first case, we have this expression. Here we substitute small r equal to capital R, both will get cancelled. R square, small r square, r is equal to small r is equal to capital R, both get cancelled. Result is, so if small r is equal to r, what is the result? E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Here I gave you some point for thought. When we discussed uniformly charged infinite plate, electric field was sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Here on the surface, electric field intensity is sigma by epsilon naught. It seems some comparison, but I leave up to you. Explore this point and discuss with me. This is scalar notation, and if we multiply it by n cap, we get vector notation. Now second point, we have this result in terms of charge. Electric field intensity is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, small r square. So if small r is equal to capital R, result will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R square. This is scalar form and this is vector form. So this is the second case. A point lies exactly on the surface of a spherical shell. These are the expressions of electric field intensity at that point. Now what if point lies inside the spherical shell. Now what will be the result? If point lies inside the uniformly charged spherical shell. This is the third case. Field inside the shell, and small r is less than capital R. Distance of point small r from the center is less than the radius of the spherical shell. This is the case. So see, this is our spherical shell. Center is O. Point P lies inside. See, point P lies inside the shell at r distance. O is the center. Our spherical shell is positively charged. Sigma is greater than 0. Same sphere we are drawing here again to understand the concept. This is the Gaussian surface, a spherical Gaussian surface. I repeat again, this is the spherical Gaussian surface. This is a spherical Gaussian surface passing through our point P. Now we have to think over this, how much charge is present inside this Gaussian surface. See, there is no charge. All charge is now outside this Gaussian surface. It means no net charge is inside this Gaussian surface. Don't confuse this case with the electric field intensity produced by point charge. We have concluded that this case behaves like that, it appears like that, but actual charge is on the surface of the spherical shell. So there is no charge inside this Gaussian surface. Summation Q is 0. So now apply Gauss law. By applying Gauss law, this is Gauss law. Summation Q is 0. So phi is equal to summation Q by epsilon naught is the Gauss law. So what is phi? Phi is E 4 pi r square, but right side will be 0 because summation Q is 0. So this is obvious, electric field intensity is 0 inside the charged spherical shell. And remember, in my first video I have told this is electrostatic shielding. Charges are over the surface, but inside electric field intensity is 0. This is electrostatic shielding takes place here. And this is advised that during thunderstorm and lightning, sit inside the car, sit inside the bus. Why? This is the reason. Due to electrostatic shielding, person inside the car or bus is safe, because all the charge will be outside, over the surface, not inside the surface. Now let us move further. Let us understand variation of electric field intensity with the distance from the spherical surface, from the uniformly charged spherical surface. That is variation of capital E with small r. We draw a graph here. We take a small r on the x-axis and electric field intensity on the y-axis. This is the origin, and this is the point represent capital R. O is the center. You can think that this is the center of the spherical shell, and this point is the surface of the charged spherical shell, capital R. This is the situation. Our spherical shell having radius R, center O. Now, what is the electric field intensity inside? Inside small r is less than capital R, and we know electric field intensity 0. And what is outside the spherical shell? Electric field intensity for this case. What is the electric field intensity point at surface? This is E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught small q by capital R square. So the electric field intensity starts from this point on the surface, and this is E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R square. So graph will start from this point and follow this path. This is the variation of E with R outside the spherical shell. Here this is obvious that E is inversely proportional to small r square. So student, thank you very much for watching. Your comments are appreciated. Subscribe the channel for update, and like and share among your peers, friends, so that all get benefit. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay blessed. God bless all.